Hey guys, it's Carl here from North Coast Constrictors in Ballito, South Africa. Welcome back to the channel. If you are a regular subscriber or viewer, if you haven't subscribed yet, do us a solid and hit that subscribe button. Always good to have new people join the channel. Guys, I dropped a YouTube short a little while ago about how to kind of combat, not that it's ever going to be foolproof, okay, but to try and move snakes now in a market that is really, really battling. Okay, the ball python or the reptile industry is battling, but let's face it, guys. The entire world is going through a crisis at the moment. Okay, so it's not that there's a problem with the reptile industry, is that there is a problem with the world and the economic situation of the world. But let's not get into that. Let's talk about the really cool things, which are the snakes that we love, the snakes that we breed, the snakes that we've got a passion for. Now, you've got your people that will buy one or two snakes and they want to keep it as pets. And then you've got your intermediate breed, your beginner breeder, your intermediate breeder, your professional breeder, and your top of the high end guys that are, like Justin Kabalka from Canova, Kevin McCurley from Nerd, Brian Barczyk, those guys with thousands and thousands of snakes. Okay. So I want to try and focus on the guys that are kind of in my situation where I've got a respectable collection, but I don't have 1,000 snakes. I've got about 400, somewhere around there. I'm not a beginner breeder. I'm more of an intermediate breeder, mainstream breeder, but it's still a hobby and a passion. I have a day job, which I'm not giving up. Um, and I don't think I will ever get to the point where I want to be a ball python breeder or reptile breeder as my sole income. I love my other company. I love my other job. It is my own business. It's regular income. It's has its ups and downs, sure, but this is more of a passion and a love for the hobby and a love for the snakes. So let's talk about how we can sell your snakes. First, you've got to determine your target market. The guys that are buying the high-end snakes with multiple recessives combined with dominant and incomplete dominant, those are usually breeders, other breeders that are looking for a specific male or a specific female or two or three or four for a specific male for their breeding project, or vice versa. Okay, so let's say you've got a whole bunch of 100% het lavender albino, 100% het clowns. Okay, and some guy has got a lavender albino clown, or a lavender albino 100% het clown, or a clown 100% het lavender albino. Okay, he will buy a whole bunch of 100% het clown, 100% het lavender albinos to pair with that male so that he can make grail. Lavender albino clown will give you a grail. Going to another gene very, very similar, let's talk about the Dreamsicle project. That is a visual lavender albino pod. Okay, so let's say you have got a visual Dreamsicle male. A lot of these high-end breeders have got these snakes, and now you can pair up multiple females to a male. So you can buy a really, really great high-end male and a whole bunch of lower end females that are 100% het. And if you're willing to take the gamble, 66% posset and 50% posset. I hit a luck last year where I proved out a 50% het pod that was 66% het lavender albino, 66% het clown. She proved out to be 100% het pod from being 50% post het pod. And another snake that was marked as a 66% het lavender albino, 66% het clown, 50% het pod, and she proved out to be 100% het lavender albino. Those two snakes this year, because I bred them to the same male, and then the male was a Dreamsicle, which is a visual lavender albino pod. So I proved out pod, I proved out lavender albino, but those two females have not proved out yet. I have not bred them to a clown, a visual clown. The one female, she didn't recover fast enough. for me to breed her this year. So she sits in the season up. But the other female that proved out pod is back to size and smashing it, and she's locking up. And I'm pairing her to try and see if she's a 66% posset clown, and I'm breeding her to a clown 100% het pod. And she's 100% het pod. Okay. So, and 66% posset clown. So what I'm trying to do is I'm hoping against all odds that she proves out 100% het clown. And at the very worst, I can get 100% double het clown pods. And at the very best, I can get pod 100% het clowns, because he's a visual clown, 100% het pod. Right, guys. So let's talk about just the snakes that will sell, let's say, at an expo. Guys walk in there with their families. A lot of the time, everything's very, very visual. You see a snake and you look at it, the first thing that grabs your attention is what the snake looks like. Oh, that's a beautiful snake. What is it? I have done that before, and the first time I saw a firefly, I was like, whoa, look at that. And then I saw other snakes that are 20 times, 30 times more valuable, which I didn't think were as pretty. Okay, but because of the rarity and how hard it is to make it with all the recessives, were far more expensive. But as a new ball python breeder and someone that was interested in getting into the hobby, I started off a little bit cheaper. I'll give you a great example of one of those snakes. Okay, here is one now, and she's busy pairing up, and as usual, she's curled up in her water bowl. And what I have here is a beautiful, I mean, like, this would grab your eye immediately, especially if it's a hatchling, but it should be a lot lighter. I mean, the yellows would be a lot more yellow, the blackers would be a lot more black, but she's held her color very, very well. She's a first-year breeder this year, and she is a pastel fire 50% het clown. So she is a firefly. Okay, pastel and fire make firefly. Now, this is not an expensive snake by any means. Okay, so you walk in and you see something like this, boom, wow, that's insane, and people will buy it. They have the money, probably go for maybe $2,000. It depends. Hatchlings will go for less. Adults, sub-adults will go for more, because the older they are, the sooner you can breed them, and you don't have to spend 2 to 3 years waiting for the female to reach breeding size before you can pair her up. So it always is going to be like that, guys. You're always going to pay more money for an adult or a sub-adult. Hatchlings will always be cheaper. Okay, then we take something, for example, that is incredibly expensive but doesn't look like that. I'm going to try and find something, and you must understand, I'm trying to put this across to you as someone that doesn't know ball python, is walking into a reptile show for the first time, and his mind wants to be blown. Okay, all right. So I'll pull out a snake that is incredibly valuable, but I'm trying to pull out one that's like valuable but doesn't really look so great. Yeah, all my snakes are great. Okay, I love all my snakes. Jeez. Guys, don't switch off. Don't change your channel. Carry on watching. You won't be disappointed. Okay, you won't be disappointed. You're gonna see some great snakes here. All right. I'm gonna try and pull out something that, okay, may not. Oh, here we go. Here's a perfect snake to pull out. Okay. This is an ultra male 100% het albino. Okay. Yes, it is. It's a beautiful snake. But the colors, that yellow and black on that firefly het clown, it looks better. But this snake is 7 to 8 times the price of that. because ultramel is a recessive gene, and it's 100% hit for albino, which is also a recessive gene. So, I'm pairing them up to the correct females. I'm not going to go through what the females are because then the video would just go too long. But then you look at something like this, and you look at something like what I pulled out in the brighter colors. That's what gets the new breeder's attention first. Okay, once you've been in the industry long enough, then you'll know what snakes to invest in. However, not many expensive snakes are being sold. I've got snakes in my collection here now that if I had to try and put them on Morph Market, there's one or two snakes here that are well over 120,000 rand each. And if I had to try and sell them, I would probably have to try and export them. But not only that, those snakes aren't for sale. Those are my holdbacks. Those are the snakes that I'm keeping to breed, to make the correct snakes. So let's talk about trying to keep things going, because we're talking years. You may sell 2 or 3 or 4 of those in a year, and yes, you'll make shitloads of money off it, but now you want to sell slightly cheaper snakes, but you need volume, and you're also competing against a lot of other people. So let's pull out snakes that are easy to make. They're only dominant genes, but they look spectacular. For example, that firefly. But let's take it a step further. Let's add some other genes in there that are absolutely fantastic, that do things. So now, guys, don't hate on banana. Please don't hate on banana. Banana, coral glow. You get some of the most incredible snakes out of that. And I'm going to show you why. Okay. I'm disappearing off the camera just for a second because I want to pull out a banana that is absolutely stunning. Now you look at a snake like this. Now this is a banana, incredible looking snake, and it's 100% head for clown. Okay, look at those colors. Look at those lavenders. It's almost purple. Okay, the thing is, some people don't like to buy bananas because you get male makers and you get female makers. But in the top 10 most beautiful snakes that you could possibly buy. And this is 100% head for clown. Okay, so you can pair this up to a visual clown and get clowns or banana clowns, or you can pair it up to a Mojave clown or a clown with other dominant genes, and you've got a 50-50 chance of getting those other genes. And there's a possibility, because it's 100% head for clown, to get visual clowns. And if you don't get a visual clown, it's going to be 100% hit, because I would not pair a 100% hit clown to another 100% hit clown. I would pair a visual clown to this snake. All right. This snake is going for 1,500 rand. 1,500 rand. This is a banana 100% hit clown. It would have sold 2 years ago for double that price. But as I say, the market is going through some tough times. Now, breeders are very, very particular about what they want to buy. So what we want to do now is we want to bring in new people into the hobby. We want to draw in that family that walks in with 2 or 3 kids, and they've got a son and a daughter, and the son's eyes are like this, and he's coming up to looking at all the tables, and he wants to breed snakes. And then he sees something like this. Okay. Now, this has got everything that you need to make a sale, an unbelievable sale. It's not going to break the bank of the person that you're trying to sell the snake to. Okay, it's a super pastel fire inchy orange dream. Yes, it's a great snake. Okay, and look at it. Look at the state of this snake. All right, it is a bit more on the expensive side, but it's not a 20 or a 30 or a 40 or a 100,000 rand snake. This is 3.5 grand. Okay, I would sell this snake for between 3 and 3,500 rand. As it got older, the price would go up. And this is a female. And guys, what I've done in my breeding collection now is I've separated it into two different segments. I've got my high-end snakes, which I'm breeding, projects that I'm working on, which are going to take another 2 to 4 years to get those. And 80% of those snakes are directly aimed at the international market, the export market. And then I've got snakes, unfortunately, here in South Africa, we're going through a lot of rough times. And I'm having to look at snakes that will sell, that aren't going to break the bank for a lot of people, but are still going to be like, wow, that is great. Guys, you can't go wrong with Orange Dream. You cannot go wrong. You combine Orange Dream with pastel and fire. I mean, what else has this got in it? It's got Enchi, you know. I mean, it's a super pastel as well. So, you know, guys, I mean, I've got snakes in my collection that are over 100,000 rand each. And I walked in and I saw this snake from one of my friends who's a breeder, and there's no recessives in it. And I was like, I want that snake. I want that snake. And I'm going to pair it up to Orange Dream. I'm going to show you what I'm going to be pairing this snake to. Okay. Because all I'm going to be doing with those projects is concentrating on making genes morph combinations that are appealing and that will sell, and that when people will see it on morph market and say, oh, it doesn't cost an arm and a leg, because it's not recessive or double recessive like a pod, lavender albino pod, dreamsicle, grail, holy grail, desert ghost, mixed with a whole bunch of other genes, which are unfortunately out of a lot of people's reach right now. So let me go off camera just for a second and try and find. I have got snakes here that are unbelievable and that would do really well pairing up with a snake like that. Okay. Okay, let's have a look here. Maybe. So light isn't doing me any favors. Okay, but what we got here is a pastel Orange Dream spot nose. Okay, pastel Orange Dream spot nose. So you can mix those genes together. That's already got super pastel, so everything's going to come out pastel. You'll probably even get some super pastel. It's already got Orange Dream in it, and it's got fire, but it doesn't have spot nose. Okay, so you put that in with spot nose, and now you've created, I wonder what that would look like. A pastel, a super pastel, fire, Orange Dream, Enchi, spot nose. I think that would look fantastic. And you sell that snake for 2, 3, 4 grand, depending if it's a male or a female. Okay, and if it's a hatchling or a yearling. So guys, basically where I'm going with this is wanting to sell visually appealing snakes to the public that don't have money to spend. The price of certain recessives are plummeting. I'm seeing the prices of clowns and pods coming down, mostly in the males. Okay, there is nothing. I love the pod gene, guys. Okay, so I'm going to pull out one of my pods here. Let me pull out one of these. Let me pull out this girl here. And as usual, she's in a water bowl. Okay, so pod for me is, it's like desert ghost, pod, desert ghost, clown, lavender albino. I'm working on grail, I'm working on desert ghost, but pod, I'm seeing pods going now for 3,000 rand, 2,500 rand. I'm seeing clowns going for the same price. So what you got to do now, guys, if you want to be in the recessive side of things, okay, you can't just sell a plain pod. What you got to do is you got to add something into that pod to make that pod more appealing, okay? So people will buy it. So they go, okay, I got a pod. It's a recessive. It's valuable. Recessive is always more valuable than a dominant. What complements a pod? What makes a pod look really, really great? Orange Dream. Leopard. Okay, vanilla. Fire. Fire is a pattern reducer, and you know, it's let me pull out a couple of snakes. Hang tight, I'll be right back in a second. Okay, so we're talking about pod skews the hand. Now have a look at this pod. Now all we've done is we've added in one extra gene. Now what we're looking at here is a yellow belly pod. Okay, now yellow belly is an incomplete dominant gene, which means you get the super form, so you can get super yellow belly. However, super yellow belly is known as ivory, and if you breed yellow belly to yellow belly, there's a good chance that you're going to get an all white snake. An ivory is an all white snake. I'm not going to pull out one now, but I do have two in my collection. Also, yellow belly is a color enhancer, and also very high saddles here, a lot of pixelation. But now this snake would be more expensive obviously than that Powerball that I pulled out just now, that female. That is almost an adult to breed. She's just about 150 kgs off the mark to breed. But you add an extra gene in like this snake is worth between 4,000 and 5,000 rand. Okay, when you start getting a little bit more established, what you want to do is you want to increase the quality of the stock that you have, and the people will buy it still without breaking the bank. This snake will sell all day long. I am battling to sell it. This particular one is actually for sale, but it's a male. Males do tend to take a bit longer to sell than females, guys. It's just the way it goes, and the reason why is because you need one male and you can pair it up to 3, 4 or 5 females. I know guys that pair up to more. I kind of, my limit's about 4 or 5, and then my male has to be over a kg before I do that. If he's under a kg, he gets 3 females, 2 to 3 females. So now you can start selling to people once they've bought that super fire, that super pastel fire inchy orange dream from you, and like the buggers bits in them, and then they want to start making something that looks like this. Okay, now all dominant genes here. Okay, now the YouTube short that I just did featured this snake. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, guys, so I don't know if everybody's going to look at this snake and go, wow, that's incredible. But these are all dominant genes, and it is, and I have to pull it out. I've got so many snakes. What we're looking at here is a pastel GHR Mojave yellow belly. Okay, so this snake is relatively easy to make and absolutely breathtakingly beautiful. This snake will sell all day long. Okay, GHR is a fantastic gene. I love the GHR gene. Yellow belly is a fantastic gene. Mojave is a fantastic gene. Pastel, guys, pastel. I'm getting tired of the flack that pastel is taking. Pastel does a lot when you combine it with the right genes. You just got to know what you're doing. You got to make sure that you're pairing that pastel to the correct combination. Okay, and then it will make your snakes look incredible. Pastel is a brightening gene, and that's what you want. Okay, so there, this is something else that you can make. Let me pull out something else. Hopefully it's shed. I wanted to pull this snake up the other day, and I wasn't able to because it was in the shed. And it's a banana GHR Mojave yellow belly, and it has shed. Okay, very similar to that snake there. Banana GHR yellow belly, yeah. Okay, banana GHI yellow belly. The only difference between that snake is it doesn't have, well, there's a lot of difference. I mean, it's got GHI, it's got yellow belly, but it doesn't have pastel and Mojave, except it's got banana. Now guys, a lot of guys, as I said, they don't like the banana gene because of the male female maker thing, but look what Mojave and GHI does to the banana. All dominant genes. This is a holdback for sure. This will sell. This will sell. Something like this will sell. So, you know, concentrate on your target markets. I'm in the process of reducing my entire collection. I've had bought a lot of hets to prove out. I've done that over 2 years. I've got this 3rd year to prove out the hatchings. There are a few from 2021 that I bought that I will wait 1 more year to breed. I will breed them next year. Whatever visuals I get from them, they will all be holdbacks, and all those mommies are for sale. All the hets. I want to get to the point where I want to have about 1/3 of the amount of snakes that are in the snake room right now, and in every single tub are snakes that are guaranteed of when I pair them together, they are going to breed and they are going to sell without doing all the hard work. But I had to do it on a budget, which meant I had to buy really good high-end snakes, males, and then buy a whole lot of 100% het females. But sometimes you can get like triple hets, but they're not all 100% triple het. You get 100% het lavender albino, 50% het pied, 50% het clown, or whatever. Okay, and then you can hit the odds or not hit the odds. And if you don't hit the odds, now you're sitting with 50% or 66%, and you battle to sell those snakes. So guys, dominance will sell if you make the right ones. Not a single dominant, like a leopard won't really sell that well. You won't get a lot of money for it. Pastel is losing its value. A normal will sell for 300 Rand now. What you want are visually appealing snakes, bright snakes, beautiful snakes, orange dream, fire, vanilla, just a super pastel, all combined together. Orange dream, spot nose, add that in, and you can do it on the cheaper, way cheaper than doing it with recessives. Okay, I'm not saying don't do recessives, but this video is to try and help out. There's a lot of snakes that I've got here that are single gene. Let's put out this orange dream yellow belly Enchi male. Orange dream yellow belly Enchi male. Look at this guy, stunning snake. Orange dream, perfect. Yellow belly, perfect. Enchi, perfect. Winner. That snake there, he is, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to choose the right female for him, and he's going to pair up to something that's just going to make him explode. I'm definitely going to put him something with orange dream in it. Orange dream is just like out of this world. So guys, that is my 2 cents worth at the moment. I do believe we're in for a year or 2 of tough times in the industry. And I haven't got my microphone connected, can you believe it? I do believe we are in for another year or 2. If you can hold fast and hold tight and keep back the snakes that you want to breed and maybe focus on the future, do it. Don't just get rid of your snakes. The market will turn. I guarantee you they will turn. I have got snakes in my collection here. I've been thinking, oh, I've got to sell these snakes. I don't want to maintain them. But I know that if I sell them in 2 years' time, I'm going to be kicking myself because I sold them, because there's going to be a shortage. There's a lot of guys selling their snakes, a lot of guys getting out of the market, which means that in a couple of years' time, there's going to be a shortage of snakes. And that is going to make the price of the snakes go up, and there'll be less competition. Okay, don't want to see it as a competition because it's not, but you know, the less breeders there are, the less you've got to choose from, the less you have to compete with. Okay, but I wish you all well if you are a breeder here in South Africa. I hope that you are getting the locks that you're looking for. I certainly am getting a lot of locks that I really want, and I'm also not getting locks on snakes that I really want. Snakes I've invested heavily in, and I'm not getting locks. However, it's still early days. Guys, thank you for watching. I really appreciate the time. You can follow us on North Coast_Constrictors. Follow us there on Instagram. Loads of reels, loads of pictures of our snakes, and join the journey with us. We'll see you on the next video. Cheers for now.